Okay, here's a little bit about my MAXXECU 8HP LS3 setup. Work in progress. We're about ready to start the vehicle. We're gonna mount the MAXXECU race under the bench seat. The bench seat extends to about here. The carpet will manipulate it where it's covered up but very accessible once the bench is removed. My Deutsch Connect breakout versus the Delphi gives me the main power group and GPO group here. This is a 12 pin or 12-way. DIN and digital group is here. There's 8 pins. You can see the sequential wiring that's up and down going to get a ground. This is my reverse relay setup, so this will power the actual reverse lights. The blue wire runs to that reverse relay there. So that's just an intelligent way to let the MAXXECU light up the reverse lights. There's logic in Max M-Tune. We'll be able to set that up because obviously we've lost the manual switching from the 4L60E. The rest of these Deutsch connectors is my analog group, so this will eventually be the fuel pressure sensor. That's my only analog input. And I bench tested it. The actual wiring is obviously in the engine bay, the production engine wiring. This is my CAN bus breakout. So my CAN bus wire actually needed to get extended, but this powers my CAN bus network, which runs up into this bundle. I'll explain that here in a minute. Here I have a power distribution block. So that's a grouping of 3 things. You've got constant power, switched power, and chassis ground. So that makes it really easy to deliver power reliably through this 3-way breakout. So we have the Dakota Digital power source and the Blink and 8HP power source, all on the 8HP harness that was modified from MAXXECU. Sequential I already explained, so that's clearly going to go straight to the digital group. The 8HP harness goes through the factory pass-through for the shift linkage, which has been eliminated. This cable here is your neutral safety lockout. So Guru AutoWorks offers a base mount for the SLG shifter or the DCT shifter. And so when this is pulled up and locked in place like this, you have the vehicle in neutral. Now you can put it in neutral with the engine running, but without the engine running and the transmission getting fluid pressure, it won't go into neutral. So that's really important if you break it or you want to tow it, trailer it, or whatever. It's a common challenge with the 8HP. So that's where that lives. Up, down, some advanced programming being put into this. So for me, over 30 miles an hour, I hold this back. It's going to set the cruise at that speed. I let it go, it just cruises. This is all in the MAXXECU logic. Push up and hold up during cruise. It's going to increase the speed of the vehicle 5 miles per hour with each long hold. Nice, integrates cruise control, which is no longer available with the factory electronics. The Blink Ring keypad is at the 3D print designer. I get that back tonight. It'll go right here where the fog light switch goes. I installed a manual transmission cover. So we eliminated the shift bowl and the shift linkage. So this will all be hidden when the rest of the plastic's back. This is, you can see a termination here for the CAN bus at the Blink Marine keypad, which just seemed to really like that. So we did it, even though the data said I didn't really need to do that. When bench testing, I sure did. Finally, Finally, as far as what's going on in the cab, we have the Dakota gauges, RTX on the CAN bus. I have some other pictures. I'm not going to pull this out for the video, but I did a full breakout of the wiring harness from Dakota and integrated it into a Deutsch connector, which has a female and male end, and the female end integrates into the factory cluster to get the like 8 wires we need for turn, for fuel, for high beams, for parking brake. Everything else is CAN bus, which is real nice. Eliminating the neutral safety switch and the park lockout, so I can start the truck now. You're probably thinking, oh, well, what if it's in gear? So this will send 12 volts to the MAXXECU, which has logic and says, am I in park or neutral? If I am, I will now send 12 volts to the starter solenoid and crank the motor. So there's logic and safety built into this that GM didn't have the technology, just like the cruise control, to integrate it into one advanced computer when this truck was made in 1997. Right, so I guess one little touch, which I think is really classy, this GMC logo is replicated here for like a factory feel when you get in and out of the truck. And the carpet will clearly cover all this up. The factory had wires under here that were not sorted as well as this, so this is a big improvement as to, you know, what the truck came with, not only from the drivetrain perspective and the but the wiring, to be honest, is atrocious in these trucks from the factory. Really piss poor grounds, interesting locations and design decisions. So you overcome a lot of that when you do a full drivetrain swap. These wires down here are all the sub and amp wires. Until the carpet goes in, there's not much to do with those, so they're just hanging out. All right, I'm going to take you into the engine bay, and then we're going to put the car in the air, and we're going to talk about the 8HP swap overall.